First off, I want to personally thank you for purchasing this new music video frame template kit 2.0. Without wasting any more time, let's get started. So the tools you'll need to begin are Adobe Photoshop, 2, a video editing software. I'm using Final Cut Pro 10. You can use Premiere, you can use Sony Vegas, or anything in that nature. And number 3, lastly, this step right here is optional. As far as fonts go, I included the fonts I use to make this kit, but you don't have to use them at all. You can use any font you like. Now, let's locate those templates inside the folder that you downloaded. I have my folder right here on the desktop screen. I'm gonna just double click that folder. And let's go over the contents inside this folder. Right here are the fonts I just mentioned. They're easy to install. All you have to do is double click the font and they'll take it to the font book and they'll install right there. I'm not gonna do mine. I have them already installed, so it makes no sense for me to do it. Next, we have the README first. I'm quite sure you all have went there already. That's how you got to this particular video. The last 2 folders are the actual templates. As you can see, here are the 2 story. I'm gonna bring this out. These are the 2 story templates. And right here are the 5 square promo templates you can use for Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever you want. So let's click on this first one. Open that folder. Here's the PSD file and double click it. Now it should open up your Photoshop. So here's a keynote. Everything I'm explaining in this one template applies to all the templates. So if you need to stop and rewind, do so, that's fine. But like I say, all these steps apply to every single template inside of this kit. Let's keep going. Breaking down this file, as you see, the top layer is the main file. We can close that up or turn it off and turn it back on. The next folder is the text. We can cut the whole thing off, or we can cut individual pieces off if you like. To edit them is really simple. All you have to do is hit the T key or hit the text tool right here on the side. It brings up this cursor. All you have to do is click into the title that you want to change and start typing. Very simple. I'm going to undo that. Same thing with the song name or the director's name. You just click into it, type in what you need to type in. If you want to save that, you hit this check, but I'm going to undo it and hit the no. Now, hit the V key to pull up your cursor, or you can hit this little icon. And let's go down to this layer that has the actual background picture. Right here, the green one. In order to change that template, all you have to do is double click this thumbnail and locate the layer that says replace this pic. So at this time, what you want to do is locate either a screenshot of a video or a picture that you want to place as the top portion of this frame. I'm gonna locate mine right now. Here's mine. All you have to do once you locate it is click and drag it into the Photoshop. Now, automatically it gives you this transformation tool. You can size it and adjust it to your liking. In this particular template, I have this little brush stroke down here. So all you have to do is go to a corner, hold down the shift key and click and drag it until it covers a little brush stroke at the bottom, and then either hit enter or hit this check mark. Next, go back to that layer that says replace this pic and hit the delete key. Let's get rid of it. Now, as you see, we have this hand right here in the layers window. Hold down the option key or alt key if you're on Windows, and this little box pop up on this line in between the 2 layers. What we're doing is called clipping mask. Hold down the option or alt key and click that line. Now as you can see, what happened was we had a rectangular picture, and that clipping mask took on the shape of the layer below it, which is our base. This is our base layer. You don't want to touch that layer. That gives it that look and that creative flow that you want. So now, to save these changes, we're going to hit the X key on this particular layer up top, And make sure, it's very important that you hit the save button. Make sure you hit the save button. We hit save, and there we go. The new background has changed. So let's say we want to add a different name. We're going to go with, I'm going with Envision. We're going to call this red light bulb. My text ran out the side, maybe yours as well. Hit the V key after we type it in there, and let's drag it back to our liking. If it's too big, we can either A, hit Command T to transform, or you can actually hit the T key and just choose a different size of the font. But I like to just transform it. It's much faster for me. I grab that corner, I hold the shift key back down, and I drag it in to where I want it. Hit this check mark. I'm gonna resize them back up. Hit the artist name. Make sure they're all lined up. Right there. Let's hit this director name. Drag it right there. And boom, we just created that new customized template. Now, let's save it. We're gonna go to File, Save As. And here's a key to these templates. You see this blank area? You make sure you keep it blank. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna rename it. I'm gonna rename mine to red light bulb. We're gonna change it to we're gonna change the format to PNG. That is the key. That's the tip. It's gonna preserve this area and keep it blank. I'm gonna save mine back in this photo just for tutorial purposes. So once we change the name, change this to PNG, I'm going to hit save. And if you want to, you can also hit Command S to save this particular Photoshop file. That way you don't have to redo it every single time you get in there. But I'm not going to do it for this purpose. So let's minimize Photoshop for now. Minimize this window. And let's open up the editing software that you use. Like I said before, I personally use Final Cut Pro 10. You can use Premiere or anything like that. So now that we have Final Cut open up, we're going to create a new video project. So in Final Cut, you hit File, New, Library. Now make sure you pay attention to this portion right here. We're going to go back to that folder, which mine is on the desktop. It's right here. I'm gonna name mine red light bulb again. I try to keep everything as organized as possible. It helps out in the long run. Hit save. It created an event folder. We're gonna click that again. Change the name to red light bulb. Save, hit enter. And now we're going to create a new project. You can click on that. Now here's a key tip. I know inside of Final Cut this is how you do it. I'm not sure about Premiere or Sony Vegas, but the main thing is you want to change the resolution aspects to give it that square format, that box feel. So in Final Cut, like I said, you're going to click on video format. The drop down goes down and click on custom. And here you want to build out a square. Right now it's a rectangle because it's 1920 by 1080. Sorry. Here you want to make it just match the other side. 1920 by 1920. And hit OK. Did you see how I just went from square? I'm sorry. Did you just see how I went from rectangle to square? That's perfect. So once again, we're going to name our project red light bulb. Enter. And now let's locate our template. Make sure you grab the PNG of the template. We're going to click and drag it into our timeline inside of our editing software. Now as you can see, the black portion is where we're going to add, this black portion right here is where we're going to add our video. So let's drag it out for about a good minute. Let's see. That's pretty close. So next, let's find some video footage to put up underneath this file. You may use whatever music video you're working on or anything of that nature. So I found the clip that I'm gonna use, and I'm gonna drag it inside of my timeline. So here's a key point. Make sure that you drag this clip up underneath the layer that has our PNG right here. So what I'm gonna do inside of Final Cut, I'm gonna get my blade tool out and chop off the excess that we don't need. And to get that blade tool, you hit the B key, and to get back to your regular arrow, you hit the A key. And let's get rid of that excess. So now you're looking like, okay, I'm almost there, but my footage is not in the right spot. So what we want to do is put our little tracker somewhere in the footage. Click on the layer that we're about to manipulate, which is the actual clips. We're gonna go to our transformation tool inside of Final Cut, and we're gonna drag it down. Or what may be faster if we hit the transformation tool over here. And if you have to, you can scale it up enough to cover up those empty spaces. Just like that. Now here's the beauty of these templates. You see how this one is scaled in a lot and it may not be to your liking? You could just use a different template and therefore you won't have to scale the footage too much. But I think this one's fine. So let that render. Now that we have everything how we want it, we're gonna hit the export button. You can choose any type of resolution you want to export at. I'm doing 720 just for this purpose. Hit next. I'm putting mine back in the same folder, but you can export yours wherever you want to. Hit save. And let it export. Once it has finished exporting the video, go to that file, and boom, there you go. You can play it, skip through it, and there's your preview. Now, some of you may be thinking, how do I get this to my phone? Well, if you're like me and you're on a Mac computer and you have an iPhone, it's so simple. You can hit the share button and airdrop it to yourself. If you don't have that type of luxury, I have found out that it's sometimes easier to use a website called WeTransfer. So what you do is you go to WeTransfer.com, you click on the free side, upload or drag and drop the file onto that website, and send yourself an email and download it through the WeTransfer. Once again, I want to thank you for buying this kit. I hope everything was simple and enjoyable. If you don't mind, go to YouTube, type in ENVZN, that's ENVZN, mediaworks, and subscribe to my channel. I truly appreciate it. Until next time, be creative, stay creative. Peace.